English learners, and welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
How are you, Erica?
Marco, I'm doing really well today.
You excited?
We've got a great lesson for everyone.
Yes, we have a really common situation where we're going to use real English, right?
Yep, everyday English, English that people really use.
And that's what we want you to learn. What are we talking about today specifically?
Today we have a really common situation that is a little bit embarrassing.
All right, an embarrassing situation. So let's listen to the dialogue for the first time, and it's going to be kind of fast.
Yeah, but don't worry if you don't understand everything, because after 10 minutes, you'll understand everything.
Perfect. All right, let's listen.
Nick, how's it going?
Oh, hey.
What are you doing in this neighborhood? Do you live around here?
Actually, my office is right around the corner.
It was great to meet you last week at the conference. I really enjoyed our conversation about foreign investment.
Yeah, it was really interesting. You know, I'm in a bit of a hurry, but here's my card. We should definitely meet up again and continue our discussion.
Sure, you still have my contact details, right?
You know what? This is really embarrassing, but your name has just slipped my mind. Can you remind me?
Sure. My name is Anna Ferris. Don't worry about it. It happens to me all the time. I'm terrible with names, too.
Wow, Nick forgot her name.
Yeah, that's happened to me a couple of times, and I'm going to tell you about it a little bit later.
Okay, all right, well, let's start with our 3 language takeaways.
Language takeaway.
So our first word on our language takeaway is in a bit of a hurry.
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 So Nick was in a hurry.
Yeah, that's right. This is a great phrase. So let's listen to 3 examples of how you can use this phrase.
Example 1.
Can you drive faster? I'm in a bit of a hurry.
Example 2.
I can't talk right now. I'm in a bit of a hurry.
Example 3.
I'm in a bit of a hurry, so I'll check these files later.
Okay, so it's clear now. Basically, it means that you don't have time.
You're moving really quickly.
Okay, perfect. Now let's look at our second language takeaway word, and it's contact details.
Contact details.
Contact details.
Contact details.
So what are your contact details?
Basically, this is the information you can find on your business card.
All right, so we have like our name, our telephone number,
Your email address, perhaps your mobile phone number.
so all the useful information so people can get in touch with you.
Yep, so people can phone you or email you. Okay, so contact details.
Great. Okay, so our third word is slipped my mind.
Slipped my mind.
Slipped my mind.
Slipped my mind.
So this is a funny phrase. It's kind of strange, right?
Yeah, slipped my mind. It sounds very weird.
Exactly.
Okay, so now we're going to listen to 2 examples of this phrase. Try and see if you can figure out what it means.
Example 1.
I'm sorry I forgot to respond to your email. It just slipped my mind.
Example 2.
Don't you know what day it is today?
Oh, it's your birthday. It completely slipped my mind.
So slipped my mind is like, I forgot.
You forgot something.
So,
Accidentally.
right.
Okay, great. Now it's time for putting it together.
Putting it together.
All right, Erica, why don't you tell our listeners what putting it together is?
Well, putting it together helps you put language together. It helps you be more fluent by knowing how words fit together.
Great, so let's look at our first phrase today. And it's around here.
Around here.
Around here.
Around here. So this is like close by.
Close
right?
by, right. I can say, for example, is there a bank around here?
Yeah. So that's, is there a bank close to here?
Exactly.
Now, this phrase around here, we can change it a little bit and it means something a little bit different.
Right.
I could say, Marco, there's a great restaurant right around the corner.
Right. And that would mean there is a great restaurant on the other street.
Yep.
Or around the corner.
Yep.
Great. Or we have another example. We can say around there.
Around there.
Right. So, for example, I can say, Los Angeles is a great city. I used to live around there.
So you used to live near Los Angeles.
Exactly.
All right.
It's a really good phrase, and it's really common.
Now our next phrase in putting it together is terrible with. Terrible with.
Terrible with. So we have a couple of examples that will show you how this phrase works.
Example 1. You're terrible with numbers. You can't even remember your own telephone number. Example 2.
I'm terrible with directions. I'm always getting lost.
Example 3. I'm terrible with faces. I can never remember what people look like.
Wow, I understand that. I'm also terrible with numbers. I can barely add 2 plus 2.
Well, yeah, I guess not everyone is a numbers person.
Yeah.
I'm terrible with faces. I sometimes forget what people look like.
Really?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So I think it's time now for us to listen to our dialogue a second time.
Okay, this time the dialogue will be a little bit slower.
Right.
So try and listen for some of the words we've just talked about.
Nick, how's it going?
Oh, hey.
What are you doing in this neighborhood? Do you live around here?
Actually, my office is right around the corner.
It was great to meet you last week at the conference. I really enjoyed our conversation about foreign investment.
Yeah, it was really interesting. You know, I'm in a bit of a hurry, but here's my card. We should definitely meet up again and continue our discussion.
Sure. You still have my contact details, right?
You know what? This is really embarrassing, but your name has just slipped my mind. Can you remind me?
Sure. My name is Anna Ferris. Don't worry about it. It happens to me all the time. I'm terrible with names too.
So it's more clear now. You can understand a lot better, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Great. So now it's time for us to take a look at Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
So with Fluency Builder, we take some very simple phrases and show you how you can be more fluent or how you can...
Sound more native.
Yeah.
Great. In the beginning of the dialogue, Anna said, Nick, how's it going?
Yeah, this is a great phrase. It sounds really, really natural. You know, sometimes I hear students say, how are you?
Or how are you doing?
Those are 2 great phrases, but this one sounds really, really natural.
It just sounds more casual.
Yeah, let's listen again to that phrase from the dialogue.
How's it going? How's it going?
Great. So next time that you find a friend on the street, you can just say, hey, how's it going?
Yeah. So Marco, have you ever forgotten someone's name?
Yeah, it's happened to me a couple of times. And actually, the most embarrassing situation was that I forgot a family member's name.
A family member's name.
We had like a family reunion, and there were a lot of aunts and uncles and cousins that I hadn't seen in a while, and I just forgot one of my uncle's names, and I was...
Uh-oh, that's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah,
so what did you do?
Well, I had to ask one of my other cousins. I'm like, hey, who is that guy? He's like, oh, that's Uncle John. I'm like, oh, man, I totally forgot. Yeah, so it was really embarrassing because I didn't know what to call him, so I just called him. So when that happens to me, when I'm in a business setting, sometimes what I do is I ask for someone's card. Yeah, that's the good technique.
Yeah, or sometimes I might ask them to write down their email. Because usually their full name is spelled out in their email address. So that's my trick when I've forgotten someone's name.
That's a good trick, and I guess a lot of our listeners can take your advice on that.
Okay, so I think it's time for us to listen to our dialogue one more time, this time at natural speed.
Have you ever bumped into someone unexpectedly and felt that moment of surprise turn into panic because you weren't sure what to say? Maybe you saw your neighbor at the supermarket, a colleague at the gym, or a classmate on a train. Your mind races and you suddenly realize you're not sure how to start the conversation. That's when simple phrases like, "Fancy seeing you here," or "Small world, isn't it?" become your best friends. These expressions are light, friendly, and perfect for breaking the ice in English without sounding too formal or awkward. "Fancy seeing you here" is a phrase that expresses both surprise and friendliness. It's like saying, "Oh, I didn't expect to see you, but I'm happy I did." Imagine running into an old friend while walking your dog. You smile and say, "Fancy seeing you here." You're showing emotion and connection, not just words. These kinds of expressions help you sound fluent and spontaneous. Sometimes, you might not remember a person's name, or maybe you only met them once. In English, you can say, "Sorry, I'm blanking on your name," or even, "I know your face, but I'm terrible with names." These phrases are gentle and honest. You're not blaming anyone, you're just admitting a human moment. And believe it or not, people respect that. It shows humility and a willingness to connect, even when you forget. In our busy lives, we often have to leave conversations quickly, but we still want to be polite. That's why expressions like, "I won't keep you," or "I'll let you get going," are so useful. They're indirect ways of saying, "I know you're busy, and I respect your time." These are the soft skills of English, the little ways we show kindness and awareness. You can use them in cafes, in emails, or even during phone calls. "I won't keep you, but let's catch up soon." It's friendly and thoughtful. English is full of expressions that help you transition in and out of conversations. Take "by the way," for instance. It helps you add a thought without interrupting. Or "speaking of," which links one idea to another naturally. In the podcast, when Anna remembered something unrelated, she could have said, "Oh, by the way, do you still work at the same place?" Sometimes, when you run into someone, you want to suggest reconnecting, but you don't want to sound too strong. That's when phrases like, "We should catch up sometime," or "Let's grab a coffee soon" come in. These are soft invitations. They don't require a date or plan, but they show interest. If the other person agrees, you can follow up with, "How about next week?" Or "Let me know when you're free." And don't forget the power of body language and tone. In English, how you say something is often just as important as what you say. A smile, a warm voice, a friendly wave, these small actions add life to your words. When you say, "It's been ages," with energy and a smile, it feels different than just saying it quietly. Fluency isn't only grammar and vocabulary, it's rhythm, emotion, and connection. Another helpful phrase you might hear often is, "I've heard so much about you." You can say this when you meet a friend's coworker or someone your family talks about. It's a welcoming way to begin a conversation and makes the other person feel valued. Combine that with a phrase like, "I've been meaning to meet you," and you'll sound incredibly warm and polite, even if your grammar isn't perfect. When you're ending a short conversation but want to leave things open, use phrases like, "Let's stay in touch," or "Don't be a stranger." These aren't just casual goodbyes, they're invitations to connect again. They say, "This moment matters, and I'd like to continue it." You can also say, "I'll shoot you a message later," or "Let's swap numbers," if you want to move the relationship forward. And here's another useful one. "Mind if I join you?" This is great when you see someone you know and want to sit with them or join a conversation. It's respectful and gives the other person a choice. If you're already sitting and someone is passing by, you can say, "You're welcome to join us," or "Pull up a chair." These phrases make you sound inclusive and friendly, two things that help every learner become more confident. Language is about more than just communication. It's about connection. When you learn to say things like, "I was just thinking about you," or "I almost didn't recognize you," you're not just speaking, you're bonding. These expressions help you express feelings, not just facts. And that's what real English is, words that carry warmth, honesty, and intention. You don't have to be perfect to be impressive. You just have to be real. Say things that matter. Say them kindly. And use the beautiful tools that English gives you. Phrases like, I've missed this, we should do this more often, or even, it's been too long. These are the sounds of real life, and they belong to you now. So the next time you see someone you know, even if you're in a rush or you forget their name, remember, with a few real English phrases and a warm smile, you'll always have something natural to say. The more you practice, the more these expressions will become part of you. Not as memorized lines, but as living parts of your English voice. Keep talking, keep smiling, and keep making English your own, one real-life phrase at a time.
Have you ever been talking to someone and suddenly realized that you don't remember their name? It's one of those small but stressful moments where time feels like it stops. You might smile, nod, or try to fake your way through it, hoping the name will magically pop into your head. In English, there's a phrase that perfectly captures this moment. It slipped my mind. That means you forgot something, not on purpose, but just by accident. In today's story, we explore exactly this kind of situation. You'll hear and practice how to say things like, I'm terrible with names, or it happens to me all the time. These are not just useful phrases. They are the kinds of expressions that help you sound more natural and more confident when you speak English. Imagine meeting someone at a conference, chatting about interesting things like investment or technology, then seeing them later in your neighborhood. They recognize you. They remember your name. But you don't. What do you say? Do you panic? Or do you smile and say, I'm sorry, your name has just slipped my mind? This is what real English is all about. Knowing what to say, when to say it, and how to say it with confidence. So, in this lesson, we're not just learning vocabulary, we're learning how to manage those little moments that happen to all of us. And don't worry, if you didn't understand everything the first time, keep going. After a little practice, it won't slip your mind again. Sometimes we run into people when we least expect it, on the street, in a cafe, or just walking near the office, and we don't always have time for a long conversation. That's when English really shines with simple but powerful phrases like, I'm in a bit of a hurry. This phrase is more than just about moving fast. It's a polite way to tell someone, I'd love to talk, but I can't right now. It shows respect and friendliness while also setting a boundary. In the story you listened to, Nick says he's in a bit of a hurry even while trying to be polite and keep the connection. Isn't that something we've all felt? You're rushing somewhere, but you also don't want to be rude. That's why knowing how to use this phrase makes your English sound smoother and more natural. You can say, I can't talk right now. I'm in a bit of a hurry. Or I'll check the files later. I'm in a bit of a hurry. And here's the beauty of English in daily life. It allows you to be both kind and clear at the same time. When you combine expressions like in a bit of a hurry with a friendly tone and natural body language, you communicate not just words, but feelings. You become someone others enjoy talking to, even if it's only for a moment. And as you learn more of these phrases, you'll start to feel more in control of your conversations, even when time is short. So next time you're running late or trying to catch a bus, remember, a little English goes a long way, especially when you're in a bit of a hurry. One of the most useful and friendly ways to talk about where you are in English is with the phrase around here. It's casual, natural, and it instantly makes your conversation sound more fluent. In the podcast story, Nick is surprised to see someone he knows in the same neighborhood and says, Do you live around here? This phrase doesn't mean exactly where, like a street name or a number, but just nearby. It's a relaxed way to ask about someone's location without sounding too formal. You can also use it when giving directions or making small talk. Try saying, Is there a good cafe around here? Or, I used to live around here. These are simple phrases, but they open the door to longer conversations. And if you want to sound even more native, you can switch things up with around there or right around the corner. For example, my office is right around the corner means it's very close, maybe just one street away. This kind of language helps you describe locations in a way that feels smooth and natural, especially when you're chatting with new acquaintances or navigating a new city. And the best part is, you don't need perfect grammar to sound friendly and clear. A phrase like around here does a lot of work for you. It gives your English that everyday rhythm, the kind that real people use. So the next time someone asks where you're from or where something is, smile and say, I'm from around here. You'll not only answer the question, you'll sound like you truly belong. In today's connected world, Knowing how to share your information in English is more important than ever. Whether you're at a business meeting, a conference, or just bumping into someone interesting, phrases like contact details come in handy. In the story, when Nick and Anna meet again, Nick says, "You still have my contact details, right?" This is a polite and professional way to ask if someone still has your information, your phone number, email address, maybe even your LinkedIn or business card. And here's what makes this phrase powerful. It's simple, direct, and clear. You're not just saying my phone number or my email. You're talking about all the ways someone can reach you. This is perfect for networking, professional relationships, or even just making new friends in a new country. Imagine you're attending a class or workshop and you meet someone you'd like to connect with again. You can say, "Can I have your contact details?" Or, "Let me give you my contact details." You sound polite, confident, and prepared. No need for complicated sentences. English learners often forget how useful these small phrases are. And when you say them naturally, people feel more comfortable around you. It's like opening a door without pushing too hard. So even if you're shy or unsure about your English, having expressions like contact details ready makes all the difference. These are the building blocks of modern communication, and you've just added a strong one to your vocabulary toolbox. The next time you meet someone interesting, don't just say goodbye. Share your contact details and keep the conversation going. We all forget things. A birthday, an appointment, someone's name, it happens even to the best of us. But what do you say in English when that moment comes? One of the most natural and gentle expressions you can use is "it slipped my mind." In the podcast, Nick forgets Anna's name and says, "Your name has just slipped my mind." This phrase is soft, friendly, and a little bit funny. It shows that you didn't mean to forget, you just did. And that's something people can relate to. It happens to everyone. Using "slip my mind" is a great way to stay polite and calm in awkward moments. Instead of saying, "I forgot," which can feel a little cold or too direct, this phrase makes your English sound more natural and human. Try it in everyday situations. "Oh no, our meeting today completely slipped my mind." Or, "I'm sorry I didn't call. It just slipped my mind." These small moments are part of real-life communication, and the way you express them shows your personality. When you use this kind of expression, you sound more fluent, more understanding, and more in control of the situation. And here's something interesting. When you use gentle phrases like this, people respond with kindness. Instead of being upset, they often say, "Don't worry, it happens." Just like Anna does in the story. So as you grow your English, remember, mistakes and forgetfulness are part of being human. But the way you talk about them, especially with kind and native-sounding phrases like "slipped my mind," can turn an awkward moment into an honest and even charming one. That's the power of real English. Speaking a new language doesn't mean you have to sound perfect. It means sounding real. And one of the most natural ways to do that in English is by admitting what you're terrible with. In the podcast, Anna says, "I'm terrible with names, too." It's an honest way to connect with someone. She's not pretending. She's being real, and that creates understanding and even a little humor. The phrase "terrible with" helps you speak openly about things you're not good at, but without sounding too negative or serious. Instead, it feels light and relatable. Think of all the things you might say. "I'm terrible with directions, I always get lost." Or, "I'm terrible with numbers, I can never remember the budget." Or even, "I'm terrible with technology, my computer hates me." These sentences don't just share information. They share personality. When you say you're terrible with something, you're showing people that it's okay not to be perfect. You're learning. You're human. And that's powerful, especially for English learners. Using this phrase helps you connect through shared struggles. Everyone has things they're terrible with. And when you say it out loud, it often leads to laughter, stories, or even advice. It makes conversations deeper and more meaningful. So the next time you forget someone's name, lose your way, or mix up your passwords again, just smile and say, "I'm terrible with that." You won't sound weak. You'll sound honest, fluent, and wonderfully human. When you greet someone in English, the first few words can shape the whole conversation. While many learners are taught to say, "How are you?" or "How are you doing?" which are both correct, there's another phrase that sounds even more natural and relaxed. "How's it going?" In the podcast, Anna uses this phrase when she runs into Nick, and right away it sets a friendly and casual tone. This kind of greeting shows that you're not just following a textbook, you're actually speaking the way native speakers do. The beauty of "how's it going?" is that it fits almost any informal situation. Whether you're meeting a friend, seeing someone after a while, or just starting a casual chat, this phrase makes everything feel easy and light. You don't need to sound overly formal to be polite. In fact, sounding too formal in daily conversations can make things feel awkward or distant. With a simple "how's it going?" you come across as warm, relaxed, and approachable. And you don't have to worry about giving a perfect answer. Responses like "good," "not bad," or even "pretty busy these days" are all fine. What matters most is the tone and connection. By using phrases like this, you're not just learning grammar, you're building a sense of rhythm and flow in English. You're learning to speak with confidence, not just correctness. So next time you see someone on the street, in class, or at the cafe, smile and say, "Hey, how's it going?" It might seem like a small phrase, but it opens the door to real conversation. In every language, the way you describe places and locations says a lot about how comfortably you speak. In English, there's a wonderfully natural phrase that makes your speaking sound more fluent and connected to everyday life. Right around the corner. This simple phrase doesn't just mean something is nearby, it adds a friendly and familiar feeling, like you really know the area. In the podcast, Nick says, "My office is right around the corner," and it immediately gives the listener a clear, relaxed image of where he works. It feels casual, not stiff or overly detailed, and that's what makes it so effective. When you say something is right around the corner, you're saying it's very close, maybe just one street away, or even just a short walk. This phrase is great for helping others find places or for talking about your surroundings. You can say things like, "There's a nice coffee shop right around the corner," or "My friend lives right around the corner from here." And if you want to add a little variety, try phrases like "nearby," "in the neighborhood," or "just down the street." All of them help paint a natural picture, like you belong where you are. For English learners, mastering location phrases like this makes conversations easier and more realistic. Whether you're giving directions, meeting someone, or just chatting about your day, these small expressions show that you're not only learning English, you're living it. So the next time someone asks where the store is or where you live, don't worry about long explanations. Just smile and say, "It's right around the corner." That's the kind of English that people remember and enjoy hearing. Sometimes you meet someone once, at a conference, at a party, or in a class, and then weeks later, you see them again. What do you say? How do you sound friendly and interested in English without being awkward? This is where phrases like, "We should definitely meet up again," or "Let's continue our discussion," help you sound confident, warm, and natural. In the podcast, Nick uses these expressions when he sees Anna again, showing that he remembered their first meeting and wants to stay in touch. This kind of language is useful not only in professional situations, but in everyday life, too. English isn't just about vocabulary, it's about building relationships. When you learn how to express interest in talking more or meeting again, you start creating deeper connections. You might say, "I really enjoyed our conversation last time," or "Let's catch up soon." These phrases are simple, but they carry a lot of meaning. They show that you're polite, thoughtful, and open to continuing the relationship, whether it's for business or friendship. Many learners struggle with what to say after a quick hello. But when you know how to smoothly suggest a second meeting, you keep the door open for more English practice, more learning, and more real-life communication. And don't worry if you forget small details. What matters most is your attitude and your willingness to connect. So the next time you bump into someone from your past, take a deep breath, smile, and say, "It was great seeing you again. Let's stay in touch." That's the kind of English that brings people together. As you've seen throughout this lesson, real English isn't just about rules or long words. It's about the way people speak in real life. It's about being ready for those small but powerful moments that happen every day. Meeting someone on the street, forgetting a name, asking for directions, or saying you're in a rush. The beauty of the phrases you've learned, "slipped my mind," "in a bit of a hurry," "around here," "terrible with," "right around the corner," and more, is that they carry emotion, personality, and connection. They help you move from classroom English to living, breathing English. The goal isn't perfection. It's connection. It's feeling comfortable enough to say, "Hey, how's it going?" without worrying about grammar. It's smiling when you admit, I'm terrible with names, or laughing when you realize, it completely slipped my mind. These small, natural expressions become your tools for real communication, not just memorization. They help you understand others better, and they help others feel more at ease with you. The more you practice these kinds of phrases, the more fluent you'll become, not just in speaking, but in thinking in English. You'll stop translating in your head and start reacting like a true communicator. You'll start recognizing the rhythm of the language, the way native speakers pause, smile, and connect. And most importantly, you'll begin to enjoy speaking English, not because it's perfect, but because it's you. So wherever you are in your English journey, remember this. Every time you use a real phrase in a real moment, you take a step closer to fluency. Keep learning, keep speaking, and never be afraid to say, "Can you remind me your name?" or "Let's meet up again." Because with real English, you're not just learning a language, you're building a voice.
Nick, how's it going?
Oh, hey.
What are you doing in this neighborhood? Do you live around here?
Actually, my office is right around the corner.
It was great to meet you last week at the conference. I really enjoyed our conversation about foreign investment.
Yeah, it was really interesting. You know, I'm in a bit of a hurry, but here's my card. We should definitely meet up again and continue our discussion.
Sure, you still have my contact details, right?
You know what? This is really embarrassing, but your name has just slipped my mind. Can you remind me?
Sure. My name is Anna Ferris. Don't worry about it. It happens to me all the time. I'm terrible with names, too.
Well, I hope that you've all enjoyed our lesson for today. And remember to check out our website at englishpod.com,
where you can find a lot of other resources and you can leave all your questions and comments.
Yeah, Marco and I are always on the site, so we're happy to answer all of your questions.
Exactly. So now it's time for us to say
goodbye. Bye.
The English Pod Audio Review.
Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
How are you?
How's it going?
Close to here.
Around here.
On the next street.
Around the corner.
Moving quickly. Having no time.
In a bit of a hurry.
Information required to contact someone. For example, telephone number, email address.
Contact details.
Been forgotten.
Slip my mind.
Bad at.
Terrible with.
Close to there.
Around there.
To know and remember someone or something you have seen before.
To recognize.
Someone you know, but who is not a close friend.
Acquaintance.
Move quickly. Not have much time.
In a rush.
Forgetting things easily.
Forgetful. Let's try that faster.
Bad at.
Terrible with.
Forgetting things easily.
Forgetful.
To know and remember someone or something you have seen before.
To recognize.
Close to there.
Around there.
Moving quickly. Having no time.
In a bit of a hurry.
Close to here.
Around here.
Move quickly. Not have much time.
In a rush.
How are you?
How's it going?
On the next street.
corner.
Information required to contact someone. For example, telephone number, email address.
Contact details.
Someone you know, but who is not a close friend.
Acquaintance.
Been forgotten.
Slip my mind.
Around here.
Excuse me, is there a bakery around here? Around here. Did I leave my keys somewhere around here? Around here. There is a really good restaurant right around here. If you are looking for a bank, there is one right around the corner. You can find a parking space right around the corner. There used to be a supermarket right around the corner, but it went out of business. I'm in a bit of a hurry now, so I will talk to you later. His wife was having a baby, so he was in a bit of a hurry. Can you drive faster? I'm in a bit of a hurry. Contact details. Isabel, do you have the contact details of our internet service provider? Contact details. Here is my card with all my contact details. Contact details. I don't have your contact details. Slip my mind. I'm sorry I forgot to respond to your email. It just slipped my mind. Slip my mind. I forgot I had a dentist appointment this afternoon. It must have slipped my mind. Slip my mind. I'm sorry I forgot your birthday. It completely slipped my mind. Terrible with. I always make mistakes with the budget. I'm terrible with numbers. Terrible with. I am terrible with directions. I always get lost. Terrible with. Every time I turn on the computer, something happens. I'm terrible with technology.